Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. After a little bit of a hiatus, I am back here with our latest episode of Horror Hangouts. I'm Josh. With me tonight, joining me tonight is from WNY Horror Krue. We have Sammy. How are you doing, Sammy, tonight?
Pretty good. It's warm, so trying to stay pretty cool and stuff. I just had a working trip in Virginia for the past week. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been working nonstop for the past week. I just got home last night. I slept for 14 hours and I woke up and kind of was like, oh shit, I have to do this thing tonight. I should probably
Well, at
refresh
least you
my
got
brain and kind of get in this mode.
at least you
Yeah.
got a good night's sleep, though.
Yeah, but the trip was great. I worked for this family for their two special needs sons. So basically, I had to hang out with their sons the whole week and keep them happy. And we were at the pool nonstop. We went to the zoo. It was like a reptile zoo. It was super awesome. I got super sunburned, but
Cool.
it's nice. It doesn't hurt too bad, so I'm all good with it. And we had a really good time.
Awesome.
So if
And
I get tired, I'm sorry in advance.
that's
Like
all right. It's been a
I have
long
to
day
work
too.
Nickel City Con tomorrow too. So I was
Oh,
supposed to do it today and tomorrow, but I
hmm
signed on for just tomorrow because I'm like, yeah, after working straight for a week, I I'm gonna crash yet again.
Where's Nickel Street Comic Con? Where's that at?
So it's at the Buffalo Convention Center in Buffalo, New York. It's one of our biggest cons. We have two. We used to have double layered where horror was down on one floor, so like all the horror vendors and all that stuff was
Hmm.
there. I vendored for the first time there in 2018 in their horror section, and then the past few years they've fused it together, so like everything's on the top floor and then the bottom floor is for like Q&As, book signings, interviews, live panels, like all kinds of different stuff like that. So I'm going to be there with representing Seven Gates Scream Park and their gift shop in their Crypt 1031. So yep. I will
Very
not
good.
actually be vendoring myself. I'm just assisting.
Okay, so well, that won't be quite as hectic, maybe.
Yeah.
So, very good. And also joining us from A&B Horror Movie Reviews, we have Aaron. How are you doing tonight, Aaron?
Yes, I'm great. Hey, Josh. Hi, Sammy. Thank you so much for having me on. This is going to be fun. And you can also find me on Instagram at Aaron's Movies 8587. Looking forward to chat with you both tonight about Nightmare on Elm Street. I just stole your
That's
thunder, but
Oh, that's fine. You do a better introduction than me.
Yeah.
Um, you've been busy. You've done more. I think you probably have done more content in the last week than I have in the last year. It seems like you've been
Definitely
busy.
more than me.
Everyone.
yeah. Well, I don't know. There's a lot. Yeah, a lot going on. I've been busy with my YouTube channel, but I appreciate you noticing. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
we interviewed the same person on two separate things, Matthew Schmidt. So
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. He's awesome. That's
yeah,
cool. He did the Sandman, right?
that's right. The Sandman,
The, the
45.
movie, his
Well, I
movie.
wouldn't call it a short. It's 45 minutes, but it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I
So
think it's a full length. Yeah, it's a great film. I really liked it.
yeah,
I can't wait to see what he does next.
yeah, me too. But anyhow, yes, we are. I've over the span of the last year, we've covered several franchises, and it's now up to we've done Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, Halloween, talked about Italian horror. So now it's time to get to the man with the claw himself, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. So I guess we'll start with the first one.
Yeah, I
First
was
one, of course,
wondering how
came
you
out
were
in
gonna do this.
19. Yeah, we're just going to go one at a time here. And um, we're not going to cover really Jason versus Freddy. I didn't cover that one when I did the Friday the 13th one, just because it's
Mm.
Mm,
kind of more in its own little universe. So just kind of stick to the actual Friday movies.
So
But
much
yeah, the
fun though.
first one
Yeah,
came out, of course, in
for sure.
'84. Um,
Yep.
oh yeah, and that one there. I mean, I didn't see it till a few years after renting it, and I
Mm.
guess Wes Craven in an interview had stated that he had heard about these weird events where these people were, and I think it was at like a mental hospital where these people were dying in their sleeps, and they were deducing it was due to the trauma of their nightmares. Kind of like one of those old urban legends, but that's where he had
Mhm.
originated the idea for Nightmare on Elm Street. And first one is, I think it's one of the probably in my top 25 or top 30 at least favorite horror movies, depending on my mood. You have a very creepy villain. Freddy is not really in the movie that much, which kind of goes with the thing. Normally in the first movie of these franchises, you don't really see the villain a whole lot. And then as you go on, you see a lot more of them. But when he's on there, even when he's not on screen, you still feel his presence. And that's kind of terrific on Robert Englund's part, his portrayal and the design of Freddy Krueger. You, of course, have a great final girl in Nancy, played by Heather Langenkamp, who I got to meet
Mhm.
about a little over a year ago at a convention. One of my favorites. So, and of course, it was like the movie debut for Johnny Depp as well. So he got
Mhm.
there. Plus, you also had a veteran actor like John Saxon, who had been in quite a few
Mhm.
movies like Tenebrae. He was also, of course, in the original Black Christmas. So, yeah, so had a really good cast there.
And the bees, don't forget
Yeah,
the
what's
bees. I joke, but he
yeah,
was
the
in that movie.
bees, of
He
course.
was in that.
He's been in a lot of movies, but those were like just
I
two that
probably
popped in
have
my
it
head.
somewhere here. Yeah,
I'm sure you do.
Look for
I
the
don't
bee.
see
Look
it.
for the bee.
I do have it with the slipcover. Anyway, go ahead. I interrupted.
But anyhow, but about the movie, Sammy, what was your take on the original Nightmare on Elm Street?
I love how like dark, the first one was. I feel like they did that again with like the remake, but we'll get to that one later, going back to this one.
Yeah.
And the kill scenes were great. I felt like you got a really fantastic amount of blood, especially, Johnny Depp's Depp scene, and then
Hmm.
also with Tina and whatnot. Like you're getting lots of blood, and that's always a plus, especially I feel like for slasher movies. You should, if you're slashing, the blood should be flying. I kind of look
Hmm.
at it that way in that aspect and everything. And um I think it's kind of interesting, like the look for Freddy, and then how it developed with like the makeup and stuff from like the first one. But the first one was just so kind of creepy.
Oh yeah, and it was probably a concept that really hadn't been tried yet. This whole concept of a monster that can only kill you while you're having a nightmare, so you don't dare go to sleep. And it's like one of those things you have to do. Eating and
Hmm.
sleeping is something you need to do
Yeah,
to function. And when
absolutely.
you can't do
Hmm.
one of them, it's just that just adds, I think, to the tension of the whole movie. Um,
Yeah, putting in that fear dynamic of it all like was
mhm.
really good to do, because it's something that like anyone can relate to, and anyone could find terrifying, because as we all know, with if you go without sleep for too long or too little sleep and stuff, your mind really starts to like come up with stuff, and you totally get to lose your mind in a way.
Hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Aaron, what was your impression of the first Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh gosh, I mean, the nostalgic factor is huge. Growing up in the '80s, I remember watching it as a kid. I, it's always in. I would say top five, even, or at least top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I think it is even as far as from a horror perspective, I'd say it's a masterpiece. The plot, the tension, I think everything about it is fantastic, and it spawned, many other films, as we all know, and
Hmm.
I think it's still just as good today as it was back in 1980. Was it 84? You said?
Yep.
I think I
Yeah,
saw it
84.
85,
Yeah.
86 the first time. But yeah, I
Yeah, I
wasn't
think
old enough to see it in the theater. But
I was
Yeah,
10 when it
yeah.
came out, so I wasn't yet.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I just remember
It's
seeing
so
that
good, man. I don't
poster.
know. It's iconic, right?
It's one of
Yeah.
those ones where, like, any time you meet someone else that's like a horror fan too or something, it's always something that you can discuss of topic, either of like, who's your favorite top slasher, or like,
Mhm.
you can automatically start to even like kind of start talking about Freddy kills. I feel like a lot of times people are always like going for the kills, and I know I am, but like,
Right.
it's something that you can like talk about, and
Oh,
it's
for
something
sure.
that
Yeah,
if there's a horror fan and you're going to
absolutely.
talk, they're going to have something to say about it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Well, what
Plus,
always
in the
got me.
80s, you had
Oh yeah.
Jason, and then Freddy was like the next biggest contender, I think, to come along back
Mhm.
then. It was Freddy and Jason, and they were even competing with the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels coming out.
Mhm.
A little bit of an overlap there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
a little
Josh, I cut
bit.
you off. What were you going to say?
No, I was just saying what. Well, I mean, to piggyback. I mean, yeah. Well, the '80s gave us so many icons. Of course, Michael was
Mm,
still came out of this late '70s,
Mhm.
went away for a while, came back in the late '80s, and then in the
yes.
midst of all that, of course, you had Chucky, you had Pinhead, you had well, Candyman didn't come out to about '91 or so. Um, and then a lot of your one-offs like movies like The Burning and The Prowler and
Mm,
all these other movies that came out during that era, and Freddy just immediately became an icon pretty quickly. Of course, that came out the same year as Friday 4, so Friday the 13th had a
mm,
little bit of a head start on Nightmare
yeah,
on Elm Street,
a little
but
bit, but
Yeah.
same vein in many ways.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that poster of the original Nightmare just that was like something that would just they just don't make good horror movie posters anymore. It doesn't seem like that. That was something
No,
that would
agreed.
grab your
That one's in my
attention.
dining room.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's so cool.
I think. I mean, I just always remember seeing the cover, the VHS cover in the video store. I'm like, gosh, whenever I get a chance to watch this,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
watching that.
Yeah, it's on the, if
Um,
I can slant up, it's on the NECA. See it up
Oh
there at the
there
yeah.
you
top,
go.
Yep.
the original NECA. I'm pointing right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's cool. And like, I don't know, it was something that like, especially, like you said, like growing up in the 80s and 90s, which like I
Mhm.
did too. Like I'm almost 44, and it's just like
Yeah.
it was. Freddie was like he was in cereal. There was toys there,
Oh, everywhere.
like
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
kind of was like everywhere. I feel like I was reading somewhere where he's like the top most recognizable like horror icon. He's going to be more
Mhm.
recognizable than like Jason or Michael or something, which, horror fans, it's all kind of, who's your favorite and
Oh
whatnot.
yeah.
But
Well,
then other people, it's like they always know of Freddy,
Mhm.
especially with like
well,
his
Oh, of course.
one-liners. And
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
with
I
Freddy, he
agree.
also, he was a killer that, and maybe this was kind of the first of that time when you look at back to the era. He was the first one that was actually talking. He wasn't covered by
yeah,
a mask. He wasn't
true.
one of these
Yeah.
silent killers. So he had a
Mm,
little bit of a personality to him. And, even the first one, of
yes.
course, we can talk about how his character goes later on. But in the first one, even then, he has a certain sinister playfulness of him. Maybe not
Hmm.
necessarily over the top, but you know, it,
That's true.
it's
Yeah. That's a good
it's almost like
observation.
a precursor in a lot of ways to Pennywise a little bit. I'm not saying that they're
Yeah.
necessarily the same, but that type of killer that literally likes to play with his food,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
Yeah. Because
before
who did we
eating,
have
so
before
to
that? We
speak.
have Leatherface. He didn't speak.
Hmm.
Michael Myers didn't speak.
Yeah.
You'd
I think
have to
that's
go
it.
all
Were
the
there
way
any
back to the
other?
classics like Dracula, really,
Yeah.
if he went that
Mm,
far back.
Hmm.
yeah.
But this is a great leadway into talking about the second one, where Freddy gets, a little bit more with his dialogue, where he's getting
Hmm.
a little bit more
Mm,
creepier, but then a little bit funny, and it kind of leads into third one, where he's gonna get a little silly, but like that's a great lead way, you know, of how like creepy that was, and then like how they transformed to there.
A fun thing, though, I will say about the original Nightmare, a couple of things really before we move on to this second. I first
Sorry, I
knew
didn't mean to
Robert
jump you
Englund.
either.
My first introduction to Robert Englund wasn't Nightmare on Elm Street, but back in about '83, and only people my age may remember it. There was a sci-fi miniseries that came out on NBC called V. It was about these alien visitors.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Robert
Yeah.
Englund
Like
played this
crocodiles,
goofy-looking
like
alien. He was like a
alligators.
goofball in this one. So to see him play that character into this just mean, nasty, creepy, evil thing with his
Yeah.
burnt skin
Yeah.
was like quite the thing. I'm like, really, Robert Englund's in it? That Robert Englund is playing that? So it's like,
Well, and
oh, that's
don't
kind of
forget he was
cool.
in Eaten Alive in the 70s. Janice Blythe was in that too with him from The Hills Have Eyes.
And I do believe he
I
worked.
interviewed her a couple weeks
Uh-huh.
ago. It's cool.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
right. I saw that. He
Small
was also
part.
he
He's kind of a
actually
sleazy
helped
guy in
out.
that.
I think he helped out on the set of Halloween as well. He was one of the people that are helping gather
Really?
the leaves and whatnot. So he actually, wasn't in the
Oh, I didn't
movie,
know
but
that.
yeah. So that was like fun little thing.
Cool. I had no
But the
idea.
coolest thing
I love that.
for
Yeah.
those who some that know me, my favorite rock band of all time is Rush. If you look at Johnny
I
Depp's
do know that. Yeah.
death scene where he's blows, into all the blood and stuff, above his bed is a poster, and it's the Rush 1984 Grace Under Pressure tour poster. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm just now noticing it. So I'm wondering, all right, who was the
Yeah.
big Rush fan that decided to put that up there?
To
Was it
put that
Craven?
up.
Was it Depp? Was it one of the set designers? Someone decided, oh yeah, let's put this up there. I just thought
But it's
that was
kind of
always an
like a
awesome.
pun on his kill too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I guess I never noticed. That's cool.
I never noticed up until about a year ago. And I'm like, wait a second, I know that. That's so awesome. But little things you notice there. One thing though, what do you guys think about that final scene where it's clearly a mannequin when he pulls her mother back in? I sometimes like it's so out there that I can't even really mark it off the movie itself. It still gets a 10 out of 10, but I'm just wondering, did they lose? Was that the final scene and they just ran out of budget and said, well, let's just get this mannequin or whatever? I've never really heard an explanation of that.
But didn't they add that final moment as like an afterthought because they felt like the ending was missing something?
I think
And
so.
so
I know.
they
I
did
kind
that.
of remember hearing a story about it, but I can't remember exactly what the story was.
I think they felt like that needed something, like something was missing, and so they came up with that sort of ending to keep it sort of open-ended in a way. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
Watching it back in the day on like the old tube TVs, it was like, oh my god, they just
Mhm.
pulled her right through that little window.
Like,
Long before
it was like so
HD,
out there, but it's like,
I didn't even question like, oh, it's a mannequin.
Yeah. You're
yeah,
so wrapped up in the
you didn't
moment,
notice
you
it.
know, you're not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the
exactly. And you look,
convertible,
oh, wow.
and I mean, to be honest, I don't think I caught for a while that the convertible top of the car is Freddie's sweater design.
Mhm.
I mean,
Oh
back in the
yeah.
day,
Oh, I know.
remember,
There's
like
like a
now
lot of little things in
we're
there.
so used to HD now. I don't know, we just didn't have the quality that we do today.
Yeah, it was just like it's something that always gets a little bit talked about that scene. I don't think it's anything that ruins the movie. It's just such an odd thing because they had all these great practical
Yeah.
effects, and then when it comes down to the very last scene, we'll just put a mannequin in there. No one will know the difference. And it's like, okay,
Quick, wrap it up.
Yeah.
but
No, I kind of love it. Yeah, I hear you.
now moving on to part two. Now this is one that gets heavily divisive, and
Excuse me.
Sam, I'll reserve my
Yeah.
comments first, but Sam, what's your thoughts on two?
Cool.
Is it one that you really like,
But
or is it
yeah,
one that
yeah.
you not big on?
So it's not one of my favorites. Number 5 is my favorite, which everyone's always surprised about, but we'll get to that and everything. So
Okay.
my favorite part about 2, and one of the things that I absolutely adore about it, is the gender role flip. So you're not having a final girl, you're having a final boy. Jesse's taking on most of the characteristics that a female character would take in most horror genres prior to this point. Um, uh, oh my god, I'm totally going blank on her name. The female one that has Lisa. So Lisa is taking on most of the male characteristics in a movie, even starting at the beginning with her and her friends like calling the guys in the gym and stuff, you know. So she's taking on a more of a like a masculine role, and like being like someone who's always been like a tom girl and really into horror and all
Right.
this, like I've always seen myself as a Lisa. So Lisa's character was extremely relatable, especially her like kind of like wanting to help Jesse, wanting to be supportive of Jesse, trying to be like, you know, hey, I can help you defeat this and everything. So like I know a lot of people love to cover like also, you know, all the homoeroticness to it, which is also an extremely interesting concept of the whole thing and everything, and is super great the way Robert Englund embraced it and everything. But I feel like for me, that gender role flop was really a big thing because Lisa was finally a character I could relate to as a horror fan, you know?
That's good. That's good because those are always the best things when you can find.
Or teen.
I've always said that when you can find a protagonist that you can relate to and whatnot in some form of fashion, that just makes the horror of the movie that much more impactful. So that's great
Mhm.
that you could find that with the Lisa character, who was played by Kim. I can't think of her real name, but I know.
Oh my
But
god.
she was in Hellraiser 4 Bloodline. That's how
Yeah, yeah.
that's something I
Of
know
course,
about her.
you know,
But
you being a Hellraiser fan.
Oh, I'm
right.
drawing a blank.
And I
Yeah.
just read the original
Um,
manuscript of that too, but I'll talk about that at the
Right.
very end, perhaps.
Cool.
is there
But
her first name's Kim?
Kim,
Myers?
Yeah.
I think so. Yep, it's Myers.
I think it is. I have her autograph, but I think I've never met her, but I got her. I do have her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, through Zilby. I don't know if you guys
One of
sign up
those
for that.
few actors that's crossed over into one or more horror franchises.
She was in Hellraiser 4? Really?
Yep. She played. Do you remember the middle? All right, the middle section where they're in the modern time, 1990s, because that's when it came out. She plays John Merchant's wife.
Oh, that's the
So
one they're
she's
like in
the
the past, and I haven't seen that in
right, right.
years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of stopped after the third one. Anyway, that's a different topic.
I
I've
tend
seen
to
Yeah.
them
watch
all.
them all like, you know,
Yeah.
often. So
Oh, okay. I've seen them all. I just,
yeah.
not my go-to
I like the
beyond
Sun
3.
Right.
Wife.
Yeah, they're cool. I do like we're totally digressing. The
I know.
futuristic with Lance Henriksen, whatever that one's called, where it's like the tech party. That one was cool.
Oh, Hell World?
Yeah.
Oh well, I do like that one.
Hellraiser Hell World?
Yeah.
That's
Nightmare on
a
Elm Street
very
2
much a
though.
movie of its
Yeah,
time.
Metal
It's
Street
very
too.
2000s.
It's very dated. Yeah, the
Yeah.
technology, the website,
Anyhow,
that they
back to
get
part
to this
2.
secret party. It's
Yeah.
like, very dated. But I thought it
Aaron,
was a
you're
smart
fan
movie.
too.
Stay on 2. Okay,
Henry
Nightmare on Elm Street
Henry
Part 2.
Cavill was in that. One last plug. Henry Cavill
Yes,
was in
and
that
the
too
actress
in Superman.
from Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of her name, but she's in it.
Mhm.
You would recognize her if you saw her. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, let's see. When I saw it as a kid, I didn't really like it, to be honest. I do appreciate it more now.
Mhm.
Sammy, I hear what you're saying about all the, I don't know, the undertones, and I think that makes it more of I guess, a smart film.
Mhm.
And I like that Mark Patton's character is a sort of a scream queen. I think he
Yeah.
plays the role very well. He's fallen on hard times. I've seen some things on Instagram. But having watched it now, I appreciate it for what it is. I like the kill scene with his friend. Is it Rod? Is that his friend's name?
Yeah. I think
In
so.
the bedroom.
I
I
think
like that
so.
Yeah.
scene. I haven't rewatched it in a while. And the pool scene, of course, that's fantastic.
Mhm.
They really promoted the hell out of that pool scene in the trailers at the time.
Yeah.
And the bus, I like the whole
yeah.
bus sequences.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of
So
beautiful scenes.
yeah, agreed. I mean, so I guess did I like it then when it came out? Not really. But I do appreciate it now
Yeah.
as an adult, having gone back to it and rewatched it. So
Yeah. I feel like I didn't pick up
Yeah,
on a
I
lot
would
of those undertones until I've seen it like a few times, but I feel like the first
yes.
time I watched it, I really didn't. And then once watching again, it's like, oh wait, yeah, totally.
Yeah. And
You
it
know?
takes its time. It's
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
probably one of the only Nightmare on Elm Street films that takes its time. It's kind of a slow burn.
Yeah,
And what's up
absolutely.
with the bird? Like the bird killing scene with Stu what's his name? Stu Kula. I can't the father. I can't think of his actor's name.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. That was kind of
Stu
weird.
Gallagher. I'm gonna look it up. Anyway,
Clue
but it's kind
Gallagher.
of a fun scene when the bird flies around and then just explodes. Right?
Yeah.
That happens in
Pretty
that, yeah.
surreal. Yeah. There was like
I-
pure chaos in there for those moments, you know? It was like, whoa.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, Clue
My own.
Gulager. Clue. I don't know how to
Okay,
say his last name, but
Hmm.
Clue
we
is
were
his first
close.
name.
Gilligan.
Gulager.
Why not? Clue.
I don't know if
Yeah, I
I've
think
ever
he
tried to
just
say his
passed
last
away a
name
few
out
years
loud
ago
before.
too.
He did pass
What?
away, and he's also in The Return of the Living Dead.
Nice.
Hmm. That's
He
right.
Oh
was
yeah.
That's
the
right.
Yep.
he was
He
the
was the guy
bartender in
that did
Feast.
the incinerator.
Yeah, he's the guy that shows
Hmm.
up, right? Like the manager of the two kind of bumbling idiots,
Yeah.
right? He shows
Yeah.
up and
Oh yeah.
That's
Yep.
directs
right.
Yep. That's right. I got it mixed up.
Bernie,
Yeah.
I think, right? Am I remembering that
Yeah. No.
correctly?
No. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I love
Okay.
that movie too. Okay, sorry.
Well, my own. No, that's right. My own thoughts on part two is initially I was kind of like Aaron. I didn't really care much for it at first, and once again, now that I've had time to, one of those movies I think grows on you. Wasn't I
Mm,
like? I think it was kind of popular. Obviously, a lot of people didn't like it for unfortunately the wrong reasons at that time. This was 1986, I think, when that came out.
mhm,
So
mhm,
the attitudes obviously have changed since then as far as the
Mhm.
homosexual content and
mm,
insinuations going on. I never really thought much about. I mean, I saw him more of a final guy, but now, till now, Sammy just talked about it. Yeah, there is kind of a role reversal there, and when you look
mhm,
at it, yeah, at least it is kind of like the final guy, I guess, or the boyfriend
Mhm.
or what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, the
The
opposite
concerned
of the
yeah,
boyfriend.
final girl.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And it's very ambitious. I love the look of Freddy. It still maintains the creepiness and darkness of the first one. There's some great dreams.
Yeah.
There is some dream sequences.
Mhm,
Um, I think my big critique of it is after it's only the second movie in the franchise, it doesn't
yeah,
really feel very well connected to the first one. It almost feels
Mhm.
like it's on its own little island a little bit. I mean, they
Yeah.
mention certain events from the first one. It just doesn't feel all that connected to the first.
Mhm.
yeah.
And
Like
with this
Nancy's
being the
house
second part,
and the
Yeah.
journal. Yeah, yeah,
the first one like establishes the rules that Freddy kills you in your nightmares. I don't think
right.
we get one kill where someone is actually killed in their nightmares during this. And it's like now where you're going to make it a body possession film. And
Mhm.
that's fine, but it's almost like maybe there should have been something that should have been
Yeah,
done
you're
by the
right.
fourth film if you wanted to change things up, because that's basically how he's killing people. He's killing them through
Well,
Jesse. He
not
somehow,
really necessarily, because
maybe
I
I'm
can
missing
think of
something there.
one of the so, another research I
Yeah, which
did was
one?
for
Mhm,
my friends have a podcast, Boogeyman's Closet, where they covered all these, so I listened to
Mhm.
those too, and my one friend Josh brought up a
Uh-huh.
really good point that, the kill of the gym teacher, that was the gym teacher's dream. Because of how like homoerotic it was and everything, and then you find out kind of through it like the
Okay.
gem teacher's sexuality and whatnot. So
mhm.
he got killed in his
Oh.
dream, but
But didn't they
Okay.
he
find
must
him
have fell
in the
asleep
gym?
at the
Oh, at
school.
the school.
Yeah, in like his when he was staying there late to shower up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As gym teachers do, I guess.
Yeah. But I can't remember if he actually no, yeah, he died in that one, but it was weird, yeah, if he was sleeping there too. But it definitely was his dream and not Jesse's dream. Where a lot of the other ones I kind of feel like we're seeing a lot through
Okay.
Jesse's dreams.
I may have to once again. I mean, I rewatched
I
it
know.
about a month ago,
I
and
could
I
be
guess I
wrong.
never
I don't
picked
know.
up on that. But that's what. No, that's why you're here to correct me.
No,
It is. I
Don't
am
they
wrong about
find
that.
him
too.
tied up in the shower? Isn't that how everyone
Yeah.
finds him?
That's what I was
So,
thinking. Unless Jesse
so
Oh,
then
tied
yeah,
him
he,
up
so it wouldn't have been
after he
a
died. I
dream if
don't.
he's tied up.
so he'd be dead in his bed, right, or at his desk,
Or at his desk, if he fell asleep at his desk.
fully clothed, right?
Hmm.
Because I think the kids are they found him naked, tied up in the shower, some
Yeah.
crazy night or something.
That's what I was thinking
Because
too.
But he
he's
could
at a
have fell
nightclub
asleep after a night of kink being tied up.
in the gym shower.
That could have
Yes,
been.
in the gym shower.
But that's the thing. It
is
doesn't
where
I
really.
guess
you're gonna think of.
It's not
I
very
guess stranger things have
straightforward
happened.
either way on that
Yeah.
one.
David Carradine,
Yes, yes.
Yeah, David Carradine.
I do love the cleaning
I
his
mean, that's
bedroom dance sequence. That's fun. That whole thing.
Yeah, that was cool. Which is totally a girl thing that you would normally see in a movie. Think
That's
of
true.
Adventures in
Yeah.
Babysitting or something,
Right.
Oh my god! I was just going to say Adventures in Babysitting. Yes.
Because that scene
Yes.
is so iconic, at the beginning where she's doing the
Right.
dancing, she's
And
singing,
Mhm.
she's
classic
thinking about
song.
her perfect
He
date and
kissed me, and
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
God, you
Right. It
remember
makes you
the
want to go
song
clean
from
your
that
room and
movie.
shut the drawers with your butt, right, and play some
Totally. Isn't
80s
that what girls do when we clean our
80s
rooms?
synth pop. Yeah, that's what I think.
Interesting point, though. But anyhow, like I said, two still I probably have it. Well, I mean, probably have it. Yeah, I mean, it's a solid, probably 7.5 out of 10 for me. But overall, it
Okay.
does pretty much what it's supposed to do. It's ahead of its time, so I do like that aspect of it. And well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's good that they were brave enough to put the certain storylines in there. I just wish maybe we had more dream sequences that were, because obviously all these kids that got killed in the pool, it wasn't a dream sequence that I can, unless they were all secretly
Yeah.
asleep. So it just
They're
kind
all
of goes
drunk.
against the established mythology a little bit, maybe too soon in the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're touching upon something there where it's almost like they didn't know where they wanted to go with the franchise with part 2. They took some risks.
Mhm.
And then in part 3 they kind of pulled it back into the rules and tone, a little bit more jokey when it comes to Freddy, but the tone of the first one. Right? They listened to
Yeah,
the audience
definitely.
and
And
pulled it
bringing
back.
Heather back too for the
Right.
third one,
Oh yeah, there's huge nostalgia factor there too. Oh my
Yeah.
god, Nancy's
yeah.
back. Yeah.
Totally.
That was
On the
big.
playground, right?
Yeah,
The word on the
yeah,
street.
yeah. And then you had Dawkins do the soundtrack.
I tried to sneak into the theater to see part 3 and I didn't get in.
I did that with Army of Darkness. I was trying to convince my
Did you get
friend's
in?
foreign exchange student to get us in.
Yeah. At the time, my friend and my mother took us to the local theater. And there was like a one, and she's like, I give them permission to go see it. No way in hell do I want to watch this movie. And they said, no, you have to go in and sit. You have to stay with them the whole time.
Yeah.
So
I just actually
can I
saw
just
it.
share one other? Yeah, I remember it distinctly because then she's like, well, I'll take you guys up to the video store and you can rent anything you want. And at the time, she wouldn't let me rent Children of the Corn. It was one of the few movies. She's like, I don't think you should watch that. And I was like, can we get Children of the Corn? She's like, fine, you can get Children of the Corn.
Nice.
I think I was only 11, maybe. Anyway, that's my story.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, speaking of part 3, Aaron, what was your overall thoughts on part 3?
Well, I love part 3. It's I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It really brought the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise to life, and from there, watching it, you could kind of see they're onto something really special here, and I think we're going to see a lot more of Freddy.
Mhm.
I
The
love it. I still love it.
marionette
I think
kill.
it's fantastic. Yeah, the marionette
Yeah,
kill, the
brilliant.
Joey kill.
Mhm.
What is it? I'm
Oh
bad
yeah.
and
Oh,
beautiful and bad, something. Karen. I even love the guy in the wheelchair. Uh,
Yeah.
what's his
the
name?
Ends up
Smarty.
becoming a wizard or something in the
Yeah, he's like
when
the
they go
wizard
to
master. I was like, this is so awesome. I know it's still awesome
Yeah, they
today.
really
It's
had
like,
some
I don't
terrific
know.
characters in that. You loved all
Yeah.
the patience and all that, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
bringing
Yeah,
Heather back
yeah.
was great. And John Saxon came back.
Right, and
And yes,
Kristen,
she
our
dies
first
at the
introduction.
end, but she goes
Mhm,
out heroically. She pretty much
Mm-hmm.
takes
mhm.
Freddy with her and of course her dad dies too as they're trying to like bury
Or
his
Kirsten.
body or whatever.
Yeah. Is it Kristen or Kirsten? Maybe I'm getting Hellraiser.
Kristen,
I know.
Kristen.
Kristen. Yeah.
Kirsten is
played
Hellraiser, right?
by which Arquette sister
Kirsten.
was that? Was that Patricia?
Patricia.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. Because then she went on to do that. Was it Medium? I think it was called the TV
Yeah,
show.
that
I mean, she did
show.
a lot of things, but um,
Yeah, that was
what
good.
was the David Lynch film she was in? My God, drawing a
I
total
know.
blank. I don't know.
Totally. Same.
Wasn't she in a David Lynch film, or was that her brother,
Her brother was,
Oh,
I think.
David Arquette?
Even Cat
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Never mind. It's
Lost
been a long
Highway.
day. That's what I'm thinking of. She's not in that, is she?
I
could
don't
be.
think it might be David Cat. I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
We're
I
not
keep
talking about like
taking
the
us off the rails here, so I
yeah.
will stop.
Yeah, I mean, 3 does
I
get a
loved it.
little
Yeah, I
bit.
don't know. What did you
Yeah,
guys think?
I,
Yeah, the
it's my
prime
second.
time bitch. That was like
Oh, yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We got
Hmm.
like we were getting our Freddy one-liners. Like, I don't know, I think like 3
Hmm.
really hit that. It was like
Yes.
he was just kind of full reign, like, all right, I'm back. These are my rules. This is what I'm doing. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
everyone you guys know are going to be in the next few films. I'm just going to fucking haunt your
Yeah.
family.
Yes. Joey Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the other guy? There was a 3 of them, right? Maybe it was Joey Kincaid and Kristen,
Yeah, it
I
was
guess.
Joey
Those are the
Kincaid
trio.
and Kristen, along with Nancy, who's of course kind of like
Yeah.
she like kind of becomes like the
Mhm.
use
Mom
a
of the
Star
group.
Wars analogy. She's like the Obi-Wan of the story, kind of in this
Yes.
because now her. That's why I think it's like the best for. Even though I like the first Nightmare better, I think I like Nancy in this one better, just because she's now more of a developed character. Her it's
Mhm.
kind of like Kirsty in Hellraiser 2. It kind of comes full circle now.
Kirsty.
She's
Yeah.
become like the mentor now, and her
Yeah.
character arc has
Yeah.
come full circle. Grant, she does die at the end, but she sacrifices herself to at least rid
Mhm.
the world of Freddy, at least for one movie anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's what I liked about it. It does start getting a little
Goofy.
humor with the one-liners,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but not too
Yeah.
much.
Definitely.
And it's still
Yeah.
there's still some good dream sequences. I like the concept of it too. So
Mm-hmm.
um I think Kristen, I think that's the name. I think she's a pretty good final girl,
Mhm.
and I just like the camaraderie that she has with the other inmates. Also, Lawrence Fishburne is in that movie too. He plays one of
Yeah.
the like
Oh,
security
the
guards
orderly.
as
Yep.
Yeah.
well.
Or security guard. Yeah. Mhm. Got my
What you
thing.
think, Sam?
Yep. For 3, just saying, like I said, how it did the one-liners. We're still on 3, right?
Yeah, we're still on 3.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just really brought on like more of the humor, and the cast was just amazing, and I think the
Hmm.
cast worked really well together. And I think for like 4 and 5 and 6, we are also getting like a really good cast that like the dynamic and everything was
Mhm.
like well
Hmm.
done. You know.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I don't
Yep.
know. I don't have any complaints about it. It's so good.
Yeah.
No, not really. Either. It's my second favorite of the series overall.
Mhm.
And now we're off
Yeah.
to part
I'd say that too.
4, Dream Master. And
So
here's
I
my
have this
thoughts on
this
4.
giant thing
Oh,
behind me.
nice.
It's like
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
cool.
3.5 feet tall. So funny story. I worked for this printing shop for a little while there. I ran one of the plate making presses that would make all the plates for the presses, and I do proofing and everything. And one of the pressmen there was like, "Oh, I was like randomly got this like Freddy poster thing from somebody, and I don't really have any use for it, and it's been in my garage, and like, do you want it?" And I was expecting like a roll up poster or something, and
Right.
like, no,
Oh,
the
it's
thing is like,
framed.
yeah,
Is it
it's
framed?
done.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a
That
giant
is
Is it
really
frame, and
just
it's
Freddy?
cool.
like,
I can't see if is there anything on the side or just Freddy?
no, it's just Freddy. Yeah,
Just Freddy. Okay. I can't see the whole thing.
yeah,
That's all.
I know
Cool.
it's hard to get it all in the frame because it's so big, but it's not like it's like a canvas like type
Mhm.
too, like a canvas like
Mm,
plastic mix. Like it's really interesting, but it was really
mm.
cool. I was like, yeah, I will absolutely
Awesome.
take that. Even though 5 is my favorite,
Yeah,
I was
for
like,
sure.
four's still good. You know, we
Oh
got
yeah.
some
Yeah.
good stuff going on there.
Yeah, with 4, here's one thing I'll say. I really liked the final girl. I believe it's Alice, played by Lisa Wilcox.
Lisa.
I did really
Correct.
like her character.
Yeah.
She's actually only was my second favorite final girl in the series, second only to Nancy. I liked her
Mm,
a little bit better than Kristen in part 3. Um,
mm.
Decent cast. I didn't like the recasting of Kirsten. Obviously, they didn't get Patricia Arquette
Mm.
back. I don't know what it was about the actress. She just seemed to
Yeah. Wednesday
just kind of
night. I
took
had
me out
trouble
of the
with that
movie. She
too at
just
the
seemed kind
time.
of
But
more bland, I think,
yeah.
in
Yeah.
this. And I
They
found,
had Brooke Bundy back though, so that was cool. Her mother was
hmm
back. Same
Mm.
actress.
um, I
Yeah.
thought like Alice's boyfriend, I forget his character's name. I thought he was kind of dull a little bit. It's like,
Mark.
really don't have much to do in the
Who was her
movie.
boyfriend?
Was it
That
Mark?
was
Like
in
he was
that was
like
in
one of
No.
those
5 though, right?
jocks.
No. No, maybe that's not what it is.
I thought that was
Now
in
I did
part
like her
5, right?
brother. The guy who
Yeah.
played her brother was good.
Yes. Oh gosh. I can't think of his name. I should have done a little research.
That's
All
all right.
right.
No one knows his
He died. The
name.
ninja guy, right?
I don't.
Um,
Yeah, that
he
was the way.
dies
Like that's.
playing the ninja.
I don't know what you guys think, but I was like, when I rewatched that about a week ago, I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself,
Hmm.
the kills are really, really lame in this movie.
Doesn't even
They're just very standard, I thought. And I'm like watching this is
Mhm.
like, were they trying to make a PG-13 Nightmare on Elm Street? Because I don't think there's anything in that movie that would make me think that it should be R-rated. There's a little bit of nudity, but outside of that,
Mm.
I'm like, just everything just seemed really toned down from as far as the gore and the brutality of the kills just seemed
Mhm.
way toned down for me, other than Freddy's death at the very end when everyone's like pulling out of him and all that stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I
Mm.
enjoyed it. There's things I liked about it, but I just thought the kills just were very. I mean, the most famous one is the bug trap one or the roach trap one, where that
Yeah.
one
I
girl
was just thinking
turns her
about
into
that.
a
Yeah.
roach and squeezes her.
Yeah.
That might be about the most memorable kill
Mhm.
from that movie. And of course, they killed off the 3 survivors from the last one within the first whatever 20 minutes of the
First
film,
few
which
minutes,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Kincaid
eh,
and Joey. Yeah.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
God,
they all
couldn't you at least
go.
let Kincaid live?
Um,
I loved him. I like that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
He's have him survive,
Agreed.
but that's my part on 4. I mean, it's okay, but I just thought it just seemed toned down a little bit
Yeah.
and
from
the
I think
girl
what.
four
with
is one of the weakest.
the asthma. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I
What
just
was that,
was
Sammy?
saying like I think four is one of the weakest ones of
Mm,
the whole thing where it wasn't too memorable or anything, but I did like that they were
Mm.
carrying characters over, but then they did kill them off. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. I liked part 4. I
you
thought
got
the
some
whole
backstory and stuff more too, which then you got more of it in the fifth one, and
I like the time loop thing. I thought that was cool, and they kept running. that's part 4, right? They kept running back to the car, and then the
Yes,
truck
yes. hmm
crashes into nothing, and the
Mhm.
front just kind of crumples, like it hits nothing. I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool. In fact, we talked, or yeah, my co-host and I, we talked to Nick Strawn, I think last year now, and he was responsible for that truck scene. And he said they were
Okay.
sitting in a room, like brainstorming, like how does the truck crash? And he's like, what if the truck just crashes into nothing? And that just that statement is how that whole scene was born. It was cool to chat with him
That's
about
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Um, they had like a wire, as he explained it, like a wire attached to the truck, I think. And so when the truck hit, the wire pulled back and kind of just that's how the front crumples from the middle, like that. You know what I mean? That's how
hmm
Yeah,
they managed that to work from a special effects perspective.
that's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, is that
That's
the
cool.
pizza? The
Yeah, there
heads
were
in the
some good
pizza?
effects.
That was cool, right? And the
Okay,
I
yeah.
movie
don't even know
theater
what surprise, like,
scene. That's part 4, right?
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, and do you also know that Linnea Quigley was actually, when at the end where they're
Yeah,
showing all the
the
different people,
Yeah.
Linnea
yes,
Quigley was one of them.
Mhm.
yes. Yeah, the one with the breasts, right, pushing up against
Of
the
course.
Yeah,
skin.
and Steve Johnson was
Yeah.
screaming, "More boobs, Linnea! More
Yeah, so
boobs!"
like see if Linnea Quigley's available.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
Steve Johnson, the
Yeah.
special effects guy, was married to her too at some point.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That makes sense then. Um,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan. I think it works. I like the
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
because Alice is in the diner. She works at a diner, and
hmm
Freddie shows up in the pepperoni on the pizza with little heads, and he
Hmm.
plucks the head up and eats it in front
That's
of her.
right.
And,
There was some
this is
cool
you in
stuff in
50
there.
years, right? He's like, Alice, here you are in 50 years. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I just thought they needed to ramp it up a little bit on the kills. They were, I mean, it was
Mm,
you didn't have this big bloody thing like you would see in the first few movies that were
yes,
really pretty gory and just not quite as disturbing, or didn't
for
kind of
sure.
lacked a
I
little
think
bit
you're
of
right.
the edge of
Hmm.
the previous films, I thought.
Yeah. I think they were going more for creative kills, kind of like in part 3, than
Yeah.
gory, slice them open kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I thought
let's
Troy
move on.
Newkirk's death was cool, right? He's like, want to suck face? And she's like, no. And he does anyway. And then she shrivels right up.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
that one wasn't too
I don't
bad.
know.
All right, I'll give you that one.
Mhm.
But the
All right.
the kill on the beach, though, I thought was, or well, it wasn't kill. She falls through the sand and then gets thrown in the incinerator. Um,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
God, do I really want to see Sonny or Freddie wearing sunglasses on the beach? I don't know.
Mm, yeah.
But now let's talk about Sammy's favorite, Part 5, Dream Child. Take it away,
Mm,
Sammy.
Oh man, this made me start off too. Um, I absolutely adored some of the kills in this one. The Dan kill with him morphing into the motorcycle and the need for speed and
mhm,
like his body
hmm
mhm.
completely fusing and the whole mechanical thing and then him just end up being, like falling asleep at the wheel or whatever and dying and like tying that way and Mark's
Mhm.
comic book kill, like that was
That's cool.
beautifully shot.
Yep.
The scene too, they used a black and white set. So they didn't film it and then alter it to black and white. They used the black and white set, and Freddie,
Mm,
had a black and white outfit and everything. So, I think the thing I love most about that film is the sets. It's just like it
mm.
was beautifully put together, and it just like it was really like kind of seeing like this like in a way like a comic book on actual film, for
hmm
that aspect of it. And just like I really loved like the characters' relationships in it and kind of like the development through that. And then it just I don't know, just a lot of it was just a kind of a really cool aspect of it all. And then Freddy like
Mhm.
kind of going through like Jacob's dreams. Like that was surreal too, and the whole concept of
Right.
like, infants
Mhm.
can or babies in embryos, or whatever can dream. Like just the whole concept of that was like really interesting, and how he was like using that to get in, even though they were trying to like fight him, and not like give
Yeah.
into the sleep and everything. And yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I like the labyrinth sequence in the final act.
Mhm.
The whole diving, the pool kill with her. Is it Yvonne? I think her name is. Um,
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I I don't dislike it. Um, no offense, Sam. I don't think it's my favorite, but it's watchable. I was happy that Lisa was back or Alice was back. Um,
Mm.
and isn't that the one where we learn more about Amanda Kruger?
Yeah.
I think we get more
Like
of a
4 and
backstory
5,
with
you
that.
really get like her story,
I
but
thought
Right.
too.
it
Yeah.
doesn't. Some of the things don't really quite line up with it, but you are getting
Yes.
like a little bit more.
Yeah. 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 4 and 5, I kind of view those almost like Halloween. 4 and 5, they kind of go together. I would say I like them both as a pair. I do like the fourth one better, but I do like the fifth one. Kills are good. I like Greta's kill, and um, who else? There's one other kill. What kill are we forgetting?
I know. The Greta one
Maybe
was
that's
really
it.
good. I love the blow up
Yeah, I
teeth,
did like
the
Greta's.
whole the
Yeah, yeah,
doll,
and
and
she's like eating herself,
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
What would there be? So then there was
I
Greta
guess
and
that's it.
Mark,
I feel like we're
Alice and
yeah.
Dan. I know. I feel
Maybe
like we're
that's it.
forgetting something. Maybe not. And
I feel like
Yvette.
too. I feel like we
Yeah.
are too. I guess that's it. Because Yvette lives, right? She doesn't die.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when she gets pulled in that water and stuff, she does survive that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
And,
I guess
Okay.
that's it.
uh,
I'm gonna look on IMDb though, just to be sure, because I feel like we're forgetting somebody, but maybe
I
we're
know,
not.
I do too, and I'm like trying to think, and I'm like, what's like that? Or like, I'm trying to think of the kills.
Yeah, yeah. The Dream Child.
Yeah, it's
But
it's
I
fine.
guess
I
that's
like
it.
the analogy of
I think that's
comparing
it.
that with Halloween's 4 and 5, in that how they
Mhm.
go
Mhm.
together. And yeah, that's true. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, it's really a toss up between picking between those two. I I certainly like the first three better than 4 and 5,
Mm.
and I like, well, we'll get to new, well, here in a little bit we'll get to New Nightmare, but um for me, maybe a little too silly, but there are some, I think there are better kills though in 5 than in 4 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Um, and like I say,
yeah,
I do like the Alice character anyway. It's an interesting concept,
yeah,
about
Hmm.
the whole, like you were mentioning with the Jacob sequence.
Yeah.
yes,
I thought that was a really good sequence that they did.
Sneaky,
They
sneaky,
pulled that one
sneaky.
off. Yeah,
yes, yeah,
yeah, very much so. This is one that I haven't rewatched in a while, one I didn't get to, but
yeah.
from what I can remember of it, yeah, it was okay. Like I said, I don't know how to rank it against 4. It's almost like a tie for me, just because they
Mm.
almost feel like a continuation of the same movie to me.
Hmm.
But
What's the
yeah, and that's great.
cliffhanger in part five?
You're Sam. You might be the first one I know that has listed
Yeah, I
5 as
think
their favorite. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
awesome.
Yeah. Is there a cliffhanger in part five? I don't remember.
Uh,
Or does it just end? There's always every Nightmare on Elm Street has some
I
sort of
know. I
cliffhanger, right?
know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
I feel like there
Hmm.
was something where like, oh, there was the baby Freddy. So
Yeah.
like they defeated Freddy, but then wasn't there still like a baby Freddy? So you were like, hmm. Or did they kind of wrap that up? I can't remember.
In the
Or was that
church, right?
4?
Maybe
Yeah,
I think that now I'm thinking that might be four because four ends in the
I
church,
know,
doesn't
me too. I feel like I might be mixing that up for a
doesn't
second.
five end at the hospital? Like they were trying to find Amanda Kruger's remains. I don't
I
know.
think
I haven't
so.
rewatched any of these. I should have ahead of
Yeah.
this.
No, I
Yeah,
did like a
well,
month
okay.
ago.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yes.
Well, we were originally
Let's see.
going to
How
have this
does
about a month ago, and then things got in the way, and so doing it now. But yeah, 5.
let's see. Da-da-da. Oh, okay. So they're having Alice gives birth to Jacob. The film ends with a peaceful picnic. They're at like a playground. And then you see that this is it. You see the children singing One,
Oh,
Two,
that's
Freddy's
right.
coming for
Oh
you.
yeah,
A kind of off scene, and that
yeah.
was the ending. Yeah, okay, okay. I remember now.
Dun dun
Excellent.
dun.
Well,
Dun,
who
dun,
wants to get started on
dun.
Freddy's Dead? Because I'm going to go use the restroom. So I'm going to let you guys start on Freddy's Dead here, and
Aaron,
I'll
you
Oh,
go.
okay.
jump
I
right
feel
back
like I've
in here.
started enough that you
Ye-
take the lead.
Yeah, oh sure. Freddy's Dead. I know it gets a lot of hate, but I'm a fan. I saw it in the theater when it came out. It was my first 3D experience in the theater, so they gave us like the old like red and
Yep,
blue or
I remember.
green glasses. I just thought it was so cool. It's like they tell you in the theater like when to put your glasses on. I had a blast with that.
Hmm.
Because in the early 80s they had like Jaws 3D and some 3D movies, but I was too young to go see them. So like I
Yeah.
said, it was my first 3D experience. Um, I think the nostalgic factor is high for me with part 6. I mean, it is kind of cheesy, but I don't know. It's just sort of a fun movie. If you don't, I would say don't take it too seriously, and
Hmm.
it's a fun Freddy film. I don't hate it. I love the intro to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you're going to say I hate it, but
No,
what do
no,
you
like
think?
so, and speaking of like the intro and stuff, it had a very Looney Tunes feel to it. Like the
Yeah, yeah.
silliness was definitely absolutely amped up. And I
Yes.
kind of like the aspect of how they did it, because like I feel
Mm,
like after like 3, they progressively were getting more goofy, more silly, more like kind of playing with
yes.
the kills, playing with his food, say whatnot, and
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like for like Freddy's Dead, they're like, F it. Freddy's supposed to be dead. Like, let's just go full
Mhm,
on silly. Let's just like play as much as we can, try to be like funny with
mhm.
it and like see like, where it takes us. Because I know originally Wes Craven had wanted to do New Nightmare before Freddy's Dead. So
Oh,
it
really? Oh,
kind
I didn't
of
know that. Because they
yeah,
came
had
out
gotten
pretty
like
close together, like 93,
yeah, yeah,
95, 94, 94, I
definitely.
think.
But
Um,
it was the last one was 94. But
and isn't
Mhm.
isn't Alice Cooper in that as the father?
yeah,
Or is that
yeah.
I
So
thought that was
that
cool.
was cool too, because you're getting even not more necessarily like Freddy's origin with Amanda Kruger
Yeah.
like you were getting prior, but now you're
Mhm.
getting like Freddy per se's origin
Teenager.
of like how Freddy became like, the
Yes.
pedophile and the killer and stuff
Yeah,
and all this, and
exactly.
kind of reminding. I feel like Freddy's Dead reminded you like, hey guys, he's a pedophile. Like he's fucked up.
Bring
He's
it
done some
bring it back
crazy
to the
stuff.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, some of the kills are cheesy, I will admit, like the video game one with
Oh,
the
it
guy
was
from
funny.
Clueless. Oh, you
Yeah.
like that? Okay, okay. Um, what are some of the other kills? There's the video game one, the guy who
Um,
can't hear, the hearing impaired guy, his head blows
yeah,
up,
with
right? Because the
yeah, with
sound's so
hearing
loud.
taking over.
I can't
Um,
think of who else.
the crashing one, I can't remember if like he fell or got hit. Like I was saying, kind of like the
Mm,
animated or the Looney Tune like style,
yes.
mm, which was at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Wasn't Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold in one of these?
Yeah.
They're in
So there
this
was
one, yeah. They have a
They were
cameo
in
in this.
that one? Okay. Yeah,
I
Is
heard
this the
a
thought
one
funny
where
so.
story about that. So they
okay,
were
go
like
ahead. Let's talk about it.
newlyweds when they had like started this, and everybody was like complaining about the fact that they were like constantly all over each other. And like it was kind
Mhm.
of annoying, like everybody on the set, because they're like, okay, we're trying to like film stuff, and they're constantly making out. Like we can't get anything done.
Oh God.
I know. It's like I think
That's
that's like kind of a
that's
funny
funny.
aspect of
Funny and kind of gross to see the
it.
thinking of the two of them making out. Especially back then. They look very different
Yeah.
now. Now, isn't this the one that has like the Wizard of Oz intro, and then he falls through the sky? That's this one, right?
So.
Yeah.
And
I
he
think
says
so.
every town has an Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Maybe.
this one. Yeah, that's the intro. I love that intro. It's so good because the house is falling and he sees Freddy as like the witch, the
Oh
Wicked
yeah,
Witch
yeah.
from
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah,
Yep. He's laughing.
that was fun. Yeah. Mhm. Josh, what do you think? Freddy's dead.
I don't really have anything good to say about it. I did not like
Okay.
it.
Good thing
Which
we went
I
there.
know I'm not. I know I'm in the majority there. I thought it got not only did it get too silly, but I didn't like the
Mhm.
look of Freddy. There was something off with the makeup for some reason,
Mhm.
and they had some interesting concepts there, but I just don't think they. To Sam's point, I mean, Wes Craven was wanting to do. They had came to him, and he had thought
Mhm.
about that concept for a new Nightmare after part 3. Actually, was where he's wanting to take
Oh,
it, but they decided to go in another
No, but yeah,
direction, and he hadn't
yeah.
really been involved in
I
it.
didn't know
But
that.
yeah,
Huh.
then they finally went to him. But um,
Mm-hmm.
Let
now
me see.
new
We were
Nightmare.
talking.
If you guys are,
We were talking about
uh,
the 3D glasses aspect. Oh, I don't have
Oh yeah, I
3D
have mine
glasses.
somewhere
oh,
too.
okay.
They're not in
I
the
have
movie.
on
Did
me.
I open the wrong one? Oh, they're not here. That's too bad.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, nope. Hold on. I think I have. Here they are. They say, there we go. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mhm.
Oh, there you go.
It's
Yeah.
red and blue. And these are the ones that came with the, you guys probably had this, right? The DVD box set. Oh, wow. Look at that.
I've had glasses like that before, but not for Nightmare on Elm Street. I
They
think it
give
was
me
for.
headaches. They give you headaches.
They're
Hurts
weird.
my eyes after a while. Yeah, the My Bloody Valentine remake came with
hmm
a pair
Yeah.
of these.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, I was over at a friend's house. It was me and two other guys. We were watching that with our these on. The lights were low, and
Mhm.
his wife came home, and she looked at all of us, and she said, "You guys are a bunch of dorks," and then went upstairs. It was really funny because we all just looked at her with our glasses on.
They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we are. All
That's
right, Josh,
funny.
I took over there. Go ahead, man.
No, that's fine. I mean, the first time I wore those. Well, I mean, I wish I could have went to Friday the 13th Chapter 3 in 3D.
Mm,
Wish I was old enough to have
Yeah,
seen that in the theater in
yeah, me
3D. That would
too.
have been,
Mhm.
sure, a wild ride.
Jaws 3D, even for the horrible effects. That would have been fun.
There was, oh God, that's God awful. They made
Interesting
this.
fact about Jaws. My mom went into labor during a drive-in double feature of Jaws 1 and 2.
Oh my
Oh
So
gosh.
wow.
I was literally born into Jaws.
Wow. Not many people can say that. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Do you like
we were
Jaws?
in
No,
Do you like
that's
the
Florida at
Jaws
the
terrific.
film?
time.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's so cool. I love that. Yeah.
Surprised they didn't name you after a character off the movie there. I'm trying to think of some they could have.
No, I'm from
Mm,
Bewitched.
yeah.
They could have
Samantha
ended up
from
calling.
Bewitched. But I
They
can't
could
do
have.
the nose
Oh,
thing, but my mom
Oh.
could. Yeah.
oh, that's so cool. They have
Mm,
a Bewitched statue over in Salem,
Oh, nice.
Massachusetts. Yeah, it's one of the, I don't know. It was kind of controversial at the time because they're like, why are they building the Bewitched statue in Salem? I mean, it
Yeah.
makes sense, but
Yeah.
there's a dark history, and then it's a TV show.
right.
But it's a cool.
Mhm.
She's like sitting on like a crescent moon. And,
No,
yeah,
that's
if you ever
awesome.
make it to Salem, people get pictures in front of it
Yeah. No, I'm
all
planning
the
on going
time. Yeah,
someday. So,
oh,
yeah.
it's
I would
very
love
cool.
to go to
I love
Salem,
Salem.
visit that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not
I
too
lived
far
there
from
for
us.
8
So,
years. Yeah, you said you're in New York. That's not too far.
yep. Yeah.
Cool. I'm in Massachusetts, so
I'm a long ways off, so yeah, we got the
yes,
got the Northeast crew here joining me tonight. so,
Yeah.
absolutely.
so, they basically transition. They go back to Wes Craven. Okay, what do you got for us? Do
Mm,
whatever you want. Um, we'll make this right. So Craven came up with this idea. It's almost kind of like almost a precursor what he would end up doing with Scream a little bit, obviously with A New
Yeah,
Nightmare.
kind of.
And I look
Yeah.
at New Nightmare, it's kind of like part 2 in that maybe the audience wasn't quite ready for that yet because it wasn't well received, but it's my third favorite
But
of
it
the whole.
came out at the same time as Pulp Fiction.
Exactly. It was released
So,
the same weekend, and that
yeah,
kind of hurt it a little bit. I
absolutely.
loved it. I
Yeah.
remember seeing it
Yeah.
in the theaters, and at first I was taken aback because what is where we got here, and I could see why some people weren't warm to it at first. Then I saw what they were doing, and you want to talk about a slow burn like part 2 was. This is definitely a slow burn. Certainly take your time with it, but I like. All right, even though she died in part 3, we're gonna have Heather Langenkamp play herself. Robert Englund's gonna play himself. John Saxon came back to play himself. Wes Craven's playing himself. And then when we
Yeah,
do
it's brilliant.
Freddy, I love the design of Freddy. I like that. Yeah, some of the scenes had a black trench coat on. The claw
Yeah.
instead of just being
Another
like
Miss Me.
interesting thing.
it was
Sorry.
like the claw was not just simply a glove, it was almost kind of a part of his hand. And I like that new little bit of that new look. So I thought it was great. And to note, the boy that's playing Heather Langenkamp's son, that is Miko Hughes, who played Gage in
That's
Pet
Pet
Cemetery.
Cemetery.
Ah,
Wasn't he in
I
Mac
did
and
not
Me
know
too?
that.
I'm not sure. I just made that up.
I didn't see Mac and Me, so I
I love Mac and Me.
Is he in that? I could be
Definitely.
completely wrong. It just came to mind.
I think so. I don't know. But another cool
No,
fact
I
about
know he's
this New
not, but that would have
Nightmare
been funny.
is
Yeah.
that Wes Craven was hesitant to ask Johnny Depp about coming back for it because he figured he was a big star, and Johnny Depp would have said yes if he would have asked him.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that
Mhm.
last night watching
Yeah.
something. I'm like, oh, really? If he had just
Yeah.
asked, yeah, because he was going to, and they
Missed
asked Johnny Depp.
opportunity.
Yeah, they asked Johnny Depp years later. Goes, yeah, if he had asked me, I would have done it for sure. Because at
Yeah.
that point, that was Johnny Depp was kind of a rising star. This is probably right before. It's probably after Edward Scissorhands, but definitely before
Well,
Sweeney
early mid
Todd and
'90s.
And Gilbert
certainly
was he the
Pirates.
Gilbert Grape? It might have been after that or
Might have
before
been right
that.
about that time because it came out in
Yeah.
'94, so that's about the time he did
Yeah,
Gilbert
yeah.
Grape. But that
Yeah.
would have been cool to have had him back. So I think he said he would still come back and do one if they asked him. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the time when New Nightmare came out, horror was kind of on a downward trend. It wasn't a great time
Yeah.
for horror. I couldn't wait to see it. I remember renting. You remember back in the day, you could call the video store and you could reserve a movie and they would call you. Like,
yeah,
oh, it's in if you want to come pick
Oh
it up.
yeah.
right.
Um, I remember I was in college. I skipped a class. I was like, oh my God, it's in. So I skipped class to go get it and rush back to
Mm-hmm.
my dorm room to watch it for the first
Oh,
time
I
on
miss video stores.
a little tube. I do
Mhm.
too. A little tube
Mhm.
television. I saw it. Yeah,
Oh wow.
that's good. I don't know. I liked it. It was a smart way to bring back all the characters we
Mm-hmm.
loved, minus Johnny Depp, of course.
Right.
It
I
was a
feel
nice
like it
sort
was
of
a way for
farewell,
yeah.
send off, kind of.
Yeah.
And in a way, it is kind of the last.
Yeah.
I guess the last Nightmare of Elm Street of this whole,
Yeah.
I guess, timeline. You would say it
hmm
is kind of like a proper send off because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
Jason versus Freddy is kind of in its own thing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
Yeah.
just a good
Yeah.
time. Like I feel like Freddie and Jason is basically just like a comedy good time of those awkward conversations you have with your
hmm
friends at 3 o'clock in the morning about who would fight who and who would win.
Yes. Oh my
So
God,
they
it's
just
so
took
good.
one of
Yeah.
those conversations, made it into movies, so you get a chance to laugh.
I think
Yes.
I would have.
Yes.
And all right, what the heck? We can talk about Jason versus Freddy. I guess my thing is, I can't believe they didn't want to bring Kane Hodder back to play Jason because they thought he was too short, which is absolutely ridiculous. There's ways with camera angles you can make him look tall. Trust me.
Unlike Tom Cruise is like 7'1", right?
Yeah, if you can make Tom Cruise look 6 foot tall, you can make Kane Hodder look 7 foot tall, because they did it in Chapter 7 and all the other in Jason X and all the other movies in.
Yeah,
and I wish they would have brought some of the protagonists back from both series into it.
Yeah.
Bring back Tommy Jarvis or whomever from the.
It's still that was so good.
From
Speaking
Friday.
of franchises doing that, I don't know if you guys have seen the Chucky TV show, but the Chucky TV show brings so many people back, and you're just like, every time they do, you're like, whoa! Like, it's just so cool,
Isn't Christina Lease in it? Because she was in part 2. Isn't she on the TV show?
Yeah,
the girl
Kyle.
in part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she comes back, right? I need to watch it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
I hear it's great. Yeah,
it is. They did a fantastic job with it.
And how many seasons did they do?
3, I think, so far. I haven't seen the 3rd one, which is in the White House. I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, that sounds good.
Man,
yeah, I'm so behind. Like, when it comes to TV series, I haven't watched any of the Evil Dead TV series, and I hear that's
that was
really
so
good.
too.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Freddy versus Jason, I love it. I saw it in the theater. It was a blast with the
too.
live audience.
I bet.
Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. It was like, what the hell? But it was like, it kind of works. So
yeah.
Was it Monica
Caterpillar, the little stoner caterpillar?
The stoner caterpillar, yeah. And
that was a good scene. I liked it.
What's the drug called?
No, isn't it the same one that they used before? Isn't it the same one
3,
that? Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. I thought I had it.
Like an H or something.
Like Hypnotics or something.
Yeah, it's like something along the lines of that, but I can't remember exactly.
I have my iPad right here. It is called Hypnosil. Hypnosil. I love that they brought that back.
Yeah.
That's a fun movie. And that has like one of the best kills, right? Where the guy gets folded in half on the bed.
That was a good kill. I did like that one. Was good. I mean, there's some good kills in there. It's fun. It I don't know. I guess the only other thing is they're trying to make, since Freddy's afraid of fire, they figured, we'll just make Jason afraid of water and drowning, and
because he drowned.
That's never been established, I don't think. But I guess they just figured, fire and water, we'll just do it that way.
Like I said, they were having fun. They were just trying to do a silly comedy conversation piece, It was well executed if you think of it that way. You know?
In that aspect, for sure. You know how they were
Have you guys seen the bobbleheads, the Freddy versus Jason bobbleheads? Right, Jason has the fire. Here, let me grab.
Oh, let me see this.
Oh yeah, they do. So look, here's Freddy. He's got the fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Jason has fire too. Hold on. Crossing the camera view. They go together. Here, sorry.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
But they should have done like the water with Jason's.
I thought they did, but no, it's all fire. It's like toys. You could do it like the movie. See?
I got my little Freddy here.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
I used to always lose his hat. Like, I feel like I constantly was like, oh my god, where's Freddy's hat? His pull
Does he talk?
Yeah, not anymore. His pull string is broken.
Oh,
so
you're not on speaking terms anymore.
It's still pretty neat.
That's amazing.
Maybe one day I'll take him into my little workshop and get him to work again.
Fix him.
We'll see that.
I want to get the Mezco Toys one. It's like $100, but he does talk. I really want to get that one, but I just can't spend that much money at the moment. Cool. I love that. Did you get like the 3D light up one that Walmart was selling?
No, I don't think that. Yeah.
Hope you don't mind. I hope you guys don't mind show and tell. It's kind of.
I know. Show and tell. I have my Living Dead doll one too. Like
It
he was.
comes with a remote control.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. Oh, I want to see the Living Dead. I love those. Let me see. Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome that you got that. Those are hard to find, right?
Well, I got most of like my toys I got as soon as they came out. I've been collecting, since like the 80s.
Yeah,
So a lot of the stuff I
that's the way
got
to
as
do
soon
it.
as it came out. So, I'm now currently going through my old collections and selling off some stuff in my online shop too. So which you can find us at WesternNewYorkHorrorKrue.com.
There you go.
Send me the link. I'll check.
Plug.
This is what I was going to show you.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
You can
cool.
it changes
Yeah.
colors. I think the battery may have died on the remote, but it does change colors.
Oh, there you go.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a good thing to
It's
put
a-
in front of the
and-
house on
see?
Christmas night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Although I think the battery died because now I
Because we're
can't turn
playing
it off.
show
there
and
we go.
tell. This
I
is
know.
the
It comes with a remote.
cool
Yeah,
thing
go ahead.
I've
I'd
got.
love to see it. What do you got, man?
This
Oh,
is
nice.
autographed by Heather Langenkamp.
Oh, very cool.
cool.
If I ever meet Robert
Yes.
England, I can then have him maybe autograph the other part of it or something like that. So excellent.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. She's so nice.
Well, and I'm gonna go last on this on the next and last movie here, just because I'm
Yes.
curious to hear your guys' thoughts, because I have a feeling I might be in the minority on it. But Sam, tell us about Friday the 13th, the remake. What'd you think of it?
So I know this one I feel like is a controversial one with people all the time. I liked the aspect that they really brought in how creepy he was and was really like reminding you that like Freddy's not funny, he's not your friend. He's there to kill you in your dreams, and he's there to get as many souls as he can collect. He has, he has a motive. He has basically, technically a mission. He talked his way out of getting out of hell by taking this position, basically. So like I feel like the remake was just kind of reminding you of who the character was. And what's his name that did he also was in Watchmen.
Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah, yes. Like granted it was a different look for Freddy, so like the not having that familiar Freddy look, the familiar, characteristics and everything was a little off-putting to people, but I think he did a fantastic job with the character. I think he really embraced like the creepiness of it, and just the whole like it was I feel like in this one you kind of found out more of like how Nancy was someone important to him for a long time. And like you kind of really didn't get that aspect, I feel like, in like the first one and stuff.
Interesting.
I wanted to like it.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to like it. I will say one thing that I did really like about it, and that was the micro naps, the idea of the micro naps, because I thought that was really smart that they brought that into it, because that was something we've never seen in Nightmare on Elm Street. And we all know if you're extremely, extremely tired, if you go without sleep long enough, you will start taking micro naps where your body just puts you to sleep on it, without your control. So I thought that was cool, a cool element. Jackie Earle Haley is a fantastic actor, and I think they did him a disservice by putting so much prosthetics on his face where he could barely act. I think that was a mistake. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't really have much else to say. I want to like it. I rewatched it a year or two ago. I was like, okay, open mind. I'm going to go back into it. Fantastic cast. Just kind of miss it. It takes itself too seriously, and it missed out on sort of the campy fun from the original franchise, and I think that was a mistake.
But the campy fun wasn't really in the first one yet. So if you're doing like a remake of the first movie, yeah,
a little bit.
You're right.
Like in the alley with Tina, and like, hey, like watch this. He cuts his fingers off.
Yeah,
right.
like
Yeah.
that with the tone of the remake, it wouldn't fit because it's just too dark and too serious. So I don't know.
I
I
think
wanted to like it.
I watched it in the theaters when it came out. Haven't
Oh, I'm
watched it
sorry.
since until last Friday
Okay.
night. I decided to give it
Okay.
a rewatch, and I
Hmm.
never hated it. Um, but after watching it, this not
Mhm.
last night, but the night or the week before, I actually I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. Like I said, I always liked Jackie Earl Haley anyway. I think it was a
Mhm.
great
Yeah,
choice to
he's
play
great.
it. I think, Aaron, you
Yes.
make a good point about the makeup on him was maybe too much on him. But I think
Yeah.
his portrayal I did like. It's different. You don't want him to basically play Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger. You want him to kind of make it a little bit of his own. I do
True.
like the tone that they were going for. It is much more darker. I think you're
Yeah.
right. They could have been a little bit, maybe just a little bit of humor in there. Didn't have to be a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Something.
it's not.
Well, maybe it'll become one of those movies that over time people will come to
It could.
really
You never know. I
appreciate.
don't.
So,
It's hard to say because I just don't think people. You can put several different actors in Michael or Jason because they have a mask on, and most time you can
mm,
get away with it. But when you
mhm.
have someone
That's
like
true.
Freddy, and it's the same thing with when they first tried to replace Doug Bradley as Pinhead. No, they're
Mm.
just not going to accept it no matter what
Yeah.
until till Robert England leaves this earth. They're always gonna want him to play
One
It's
thing.
got
Freddy.
to be him. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I thought he did
Absolutely.
good. Um, I don't know about they kind of changed the backstory of him a little bit. I'm whatever. I'm glad. At first, it looked like they were gonna play it like he was innocent and
Yeah.
he's come back
Yeah.
from revenge.
Yeah. They gave you that doubt for a second.
Hmm.
Like, wait,
And I'm glad
wait,
they
what?
didn't go that route.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did make it to where yes, he was guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
they have a Nancy, but it's not quite the same Nancy because I know she has a different last name. It's not Nancy
Mm-hmm.
Thompson. It's Nancy
No.
something or other. I did like that character. Um, and
Oh yeah, Nancy Holbrook.
some of the kills are taken from the original, as they often do.
Hmm.
Sometimes when you do a remake, they
Mm-hmm.
will pay homage. Like I don't know if
Mm.
the girl's name was Tina in the movie. I can't remember, but it's the
I don't
same
think it
type of
is.
death where she's being hit up against the ceiling,
Yeah.
and her boyfriend ends up dying in jail. You do have Clancy Brown in the movie, so that's always a plus. So always like to see him.
Her name
Yeah.
was
Um,
Chris. Katie Cassidy. Was it
oh, okay.
David Cassidy's daughter?
Oh, really?
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, she was in Supernatural a number of
Okay.
seasons.
That's right, she was. So I didn't mind it. It's not my least favorite of the series. It's is it something I'm gonna watch um again anytime soon? Probably not. Normally it's
Yeah.
like the first three and New Nightmare are my go-tos normally, and
Mm-hmm.
occasionally go back and watch 4 and 5, but and I could watch it again. And I do know people who really do love the movie, at least a few people, so which is I always find it interesting when someone loves something that everyone else hates. We, of course, had
Mm-hmm.
an episode about that a few months ago. So
Yeah.
I don't
Hmm.
think it's awful. I'm looking in the chat here, and of course, a lot of people have talked about Kevin Bacon playing them, but realize that Kevin Bacon is just as old as Robert England is now, I
Yeah.
think. But then they also talked about Richard Brake, and that would be an interesting one to play Freddy if they were to bring him back.
Oh, I didn't even see the comments. Someone said Hypnocil. Oh, cool. I didn't have the comments open. Oh my gosh. I was like
Yeah,
looking
I
it up. So
put it
I,
back up.
I
I'm
would
finally
get
getting
too
some here.
distracted. I can't do that.
oh,
I
you
know I
turned
have
the
to kind
comments
of
off.
like,
Wait,
Okay.
what am I here for? What?
Yeah.
no way. I tried to.
Sorry.
Well, thank you to
Yeah.
Scorcher one.
Yeah, the CGI. There are some scenes with the CGI, and I think that's one of the big complaints about the remake. It isn't great.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that's something that a lot of movies have been doing. It's Clancy Brown could be the tall man from Phantasm if they did. Clancy's a little bit too.
Yeah,
He needs to be more
getting up there
slender, I
too.
think.
Yeah.
Clancy's kind of wide, but it's an interesting thing. I still love Clancy Brown. I know we're getting off subject in Pet
They could do
Cemetery
some
too.
movie magic to make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think who else could play the tall man? I'm trying to think of an older, thinner person that could do that.
And really tall, right? Liam
Yeah.
Neeson, maybe.
No,
Oh,
he's fat.
maybe. But I don't know if he's that tall.
Liam Neeson.
Have you seen the new trailer for Naked Gun with him?
Oh, I was
Oh
trying
my
to
God,
forget it, but yeah,
looks so
I've seen
bad.
it.
Really? Mm,
Oh
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So that's our take, everyone, on Nightmare on Elm Street. So, Aaron, what's what new stuff you got coming up on your channel on A&B Horror Movie Reviews?
Gosh, let's see. I just posted a video with the folks behind the new found footage horror called Project MK Hex. It's a fantastic movie. And I'm not saying that just because I interviewed them. I actually watched the movie first and then sought them out to do the interview. It's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, my next video coming up is with Justin Barber, who directed Phoenix Forgotten, the sci-fi horror found footage that came out in 2017. And he has a new documentary coming out. I've also got Timo Rose coming up with his cast for a new film that he did called, I'm drawing a blank. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. And John Stevenson, who did Rent-A-Pal. If you haven't seen that, that's fantastic. And Matthew John Lawrence, who did Bloody Axe Wound and Uncle Peckerhead. I've got those coming up. Actually, you said I've been busy. I've got like 15 interviews recorded that I haven't posted yet. So,
Oh gosh, you
but I'm cycling. I can only edit them so
Nice.
fast. But stay tuned.
Right.
I just talked to Ken Abraham from Creepazoids. So I got the movies right here because I just interviewed him. Creepazoids, if you remember this, with Linnea Quigley, Girlfriend from Hell.
Oh yeah.
Hobgoblins. And tomorrow I'm interviewing Lynn Lowry from Shivers, the original Crazies. Absolute legend. I can't wait to chat
When
with
you
her.
say Shivers, are you talking about the 73 Shivers?
Yeah, Cronenberg Shivers. She was the lead.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna, that's my favorite Cronenberg movie.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, Lynn Lowry is, I mean, she's getting up there in her age, but she's still a legend. And yeah, I can't,
Oh,
I'm a little
definitely
nervous
keep
about
my
this,
eye
but
out for that.
that's tomorrow and I'll be posting it soon. I talked with
Congratulations.
Lloyd Kaufman
Cool.
recently from Trauma. Check
Oh,
out my
yeah.
interview with Lloyd Kaufman. That was quite a crazy experience.
I got the honor of being directed by him when I was in Poultrygeist, Night of the Living
You were in
Chickens,
Poultrygeist?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I
so
love
he
that
was
movie.
amazing. So
He's awesome.
yeah,
I interviewed Jason Yashanin from Poltergeist like
Oh,
a year and a
okay,
half ago.
nice.
Who's
Yeah.
the lead guy in
Yeah.
Poltergeist?
Yeah, you
That's
can see me
awesome.
behind him in like a few of the protest shots and stuff.
That's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you watch my video with Lloyd Kaufman, his crew was behind him, like messing around the whole time that I was trying to interview him, like Toxic Avenger. There's like there's a puppet at one point. A guy lifts his shirt up and puts clothespins on his nipples. Yeah, it was a crazy experience, and I mostly held it together for the most part. So anyway, that's new with me. I went on and on too long, but thank you for asking.
Oh, that's fine.
Having me
I knew
on.
you had
It's always
quite
fantastic.
a bit to cover.
Yes.
And Sam, you had mentioned you're going to be at which
Yeah,
horror con was
so
that
what
you're
do
going
I
to be
got
at
ahead,
tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll start with the shout out type things, work my way down. So part of radpantheon.com, a group of creative types from Western New York and all over the world. You can go onto that website and find links for me and other people. One of our special effect artists that's part of our group is doing a lot of upcoming short films in our area and films coming out and everything. Then you can also find most of my information at WNY Horror Krue, KRUE, like Freddy Krueger.com.
Awesome.
And then Western New York Horror Krue on YouTube, for my most recent show, My Nerdy Treasure, where each episode I go over one of my collections in details and kind of show it off and tell stories about where I stumbled upon that collection. It's kind of been in high. I haven't had an episode out in 3 weeks because of this job in Virginia. And then I also started working at a school as a behavioral technician. So I'm kind of doing all that stuff, but I will get back into this. And then tomorrow I will be at Nickel City Con at the Buffalo Convention Center. There is going to be a lot of amazing people there. I can't think of any guest stars off my head right now, but I will be with Seven Gates. So see me there for more information. Western New York Horror Krue's Jerry's Closet, our thrift shop, is going to be at the Horror Garage Sale at the end of November, which has been another big Buffalo event where it's all horror stuff, all the vendors there and everything. It's a free event. There's food, entertainment, all kinds of other stuff. So that's coming up. The VHS roulette swap, where we'll have VHS vendors. You bring your favorite VHS. If you get picked, we watch that VHS that night on the big screen. So that's the cool event that's coming at the screening room. The screening room just did Friday the 13th for Friday the 13th and Jason's birthday. So that was on June 13th. So that was a pretty amazing event that we had here in Buffalo. And there's more stuff coming this summer. RoboCop is coming to the drive-thru on July 17th.
Oh, wow.
The transit drive-through. So that's
cool.
going to be a great time. So just kind of, there's a lot of stuff coming to Western New York that's pretty awesome. So
awesome.
Excellent.
Well, I have a question for you. Where are you on Instagram? Is it In Jerry's Closet? Is that yours?
Yep.
Okay, I just followed you. We're not connected, but I just followed you on Instagram.
Yeah.
So
awesome. So I've been doing the promos for that lately.
Very exciting.
What's in Jerry's Closet, where I kind of go over what I'm adding to the website. That those episodes will probably be going back soon because I will be adding more stuff to the site soon. So yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I'll tell everyone too, I've been doing a lot of writing in my Substack page, which is the Horror Hangouts Substack page. So I just released today kind of like a review and analysis of the original manuscript written by Peter Atkins for Hellraiser Bloodline. That movie is notorious for having the studio interfere a lot, and they took a lot of stuff out. It's a very good read. It's only about, in fact, I think I got it right here, actually. It's only about just under 200 pages. It's a pretty quick read. There's some interesting stuff. There's going to be more Angelique in the beginning part, who's kind of like a fan favorite character, kind of like her relationship with Pinhead in this is a lot more adversarial. So it's like, because she represents the old guard and he's kind of like the new guard. There's lots of other stuff. Plus, there is in the last segment when they are in outer space, there's another character on there by the name of Corinne Cotton, who is supposed to be a ancestor of the character Kirsty Cotton. So they've kind of like brought elements from the first two movies, bringing everything. Because to me, I think overall the first four Hellraisers are a good quadrilogy in a way. But the fourth one, and I like the fourth one, but based on what I've read, it could have been so much better had the studio not interfered with it and all that stuff. So good read, and I gave a really big.
It's always the case.
It is a lot. Especially those two brothers who shall not be named. They were notorious for screwing around with movies and besides other things. But,
yes.
Right. So, and like I said, in a few weeks, I'm going to have a author from England by the name of drawing a blank here. I'm sorry if she's watching. I hope she's not. Beverly Rice or Beverly Price. And she's written a book, a nonfiction horror book, basically called "Good, the Bad, and the Ugly" of horror movies, and basically talking about those forgotten horror movies that people have not talking. So I'm looking forward to
Oh,
having
cool.
her on, and I'm sure we will have another group discussion video at the end of July, perhaps. And once I've got a couple topics I'm thinking about. So
I
till
love it, man.
then,
That's
that's
very
what
exciting.
I've got going
Cool.
on. Yeah.
You should do a
All
summer
right.
camp slasher theme. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
Just
are at
throwing
the
that
end of
out
the
there.
summer.
But,
Maybe
oh,
that
that's
gives me
true.
an idea. Maybe like
Well, something to think
I
about.
have a few
Yeah.
ideas, but that's something I might think about
Oh,
too. But
speaking of shout out here too, my buddies also have a podcast called Raised by Rentals, where they take like movies we grew up watching and do like prequels to them or like their spin on it. And they do
oh
one
wow,
where it's a sleepaway camp
Cool.
thing with Freddie
Yeah.
and Jason and Ernest. Ernest is the one like that's supposed to be working at the
oh,
camp,
that
and
would
it's
be good.
hysterical.
That's awesome.
And they
Yeah,
improv the
yeah.
whole
That's cool.
story right there, like on the podcast.
That's amazing.
Awesome. That would be
That sounds
fun.
like a lot of fun. Hey,
Yeah.
Josh, someone
Yeah,
commented Marshmallow. That's a great film. I just saw that
okay.
recently. I loved it. I watched
Ooh,
it.
All
I'll
I
look
right.
it
I
up.
found the director on Instagram, and I'm interviewing him in a week or two. It's a good
Nice.
movie.
Very
Check
cool.
it out. Yeah, I think you can only rent it
Excellent.
on Prime, but it's very good.
All right. I-
No prime
One movie I'm
permit.
gonna
Exciting
rewatch
stuff
here.
from you both. That's cool. That's awesome.
Trying, keeping busy. So,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. Well,
One day at a
I think
time.
we could say good night to everyone else. So we have, let's see here in the chat, we have Castelor Daniel Garcia. Thank you for joining and watching us. We also had, I'm just looking, I know a lot of people watching don't. We had, I'm Scorcher, I think. Yep, Scorcher joined us. So, and Mystique Skills. Thanks for all joining us, and anyone else who's watching.
Yeah.
Make
We
sure to like,
appreciate you.
share, and make
Yeah,
sure to
cool.
like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in a few weeks. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.